It's absurd, don't you think? Blaming yourself as the reason for your husband's lack of interest in you. No wonder he's looking elsewhere. That's right, Naomi, I am younger and more appealing than you. Who wants an older woman approaching 40? So, it's no surprise you're heading for a divorce. Naturally, it leaves you with a mix of despair, revenge, and relief. As I reached into my pocket and retrieved something, a smile formed on my face. Well, it's time to bid farewell. I'm a 37-year-old homemaker, and my husband, Levi, is a salesman. We met through work when I was still single. Initially, we maintained a strictly professional relationship, exchanging business cards. However, over time, the dinner invitations began to increase. Before I knew it, he was reaching out to me every day. His enthusiastic pursuit compelled me to become his girlfriend. I had learned from a recent examination that conceiving a child would be challenging for me. My long-cherished dream of creating a loving home with my husband and children was shattered, and the devastation I felt was so overwhelming that I contemplated suicide. Both Levi and my parents were getting to the age when they desired to see their grandchildren. I told them about my condition before they started asking. Both parents were sympathetic. Levi also said, "I want to be with you, Della, no matter what." Those words helped me to overcome the sadness of not being able to have a child. When we got married, we decided to build a fulfilled life for the two of us. 10 years has passed since then. His gentlemen of those days were nowhere to be found. We even stopped having meals together. He came home after midnight every night and went to sleep without taking a shower in the morning. He woke up just in time to go to work. "Are you going to be late again today?" "Yeah. I have to work late." On his days off, he usually went out to play golf with his clients. When we had planned to go out together for the first time in a while, he canceled at the last minute saying that he had received an invitation from his best client. I was just a housewife who wanted to support him achieving his career goal. However, by this time, we barely spoke the word to each other at such times. "Tomorrow is your birthday, isn't it? Let's go out to dinner for change." I was really surprised by his unexpected suggestion. It was also the 10th years of our marriage and a milestone. I was happy to know that even though he was busy, he still cared about me. We decided to meet at a restaurant where we used to go to together. The next day I put more effort into my outfit and makeup than usual and headed to the restaurant. I reserved. "Where is he when appointed Kai Cam?" Levi was nowhere to be seen. He didn't respond to my calls and texts. Around the time I was getting uncomfortable with the glances from the waiter, I finally received a call from him. "Sorry, I can't make it tonight." "Are you serious?" "I'm sorry. I still have work to finish. See you later." I was stunned when he knocked on me. What a birthday. I felt bad for the restroom, but I lost my appetite from feeling empty and humiliated and left the place. Levi came home past midnight as usual. I was lying in the bed, but my mind was strangely clear and I could not fall asleep. Normally, I acknowledged him, but I feel like I would explode with emotion if I opened my mouth. I pretended to be asleep. He took off his suit and crawled into bed without taking a shower. That night too, he rigged off alcohol and the scent of perfume. It was the smell that had been on him for a while as he slept peacefully, a record of conversation I had with a friend. "I've decided to get a divorce." "What?" When I met up with her for a coffee, she confided me. The cause was her husband's infidelity. He comes home late every night smelling of alcohol and perfume. I know he's cheating on me indeed. He was cheating on her. She found out for sure and immediately filed for divorce. I realized that Levi and I were in the same situation when I asked him about the night before. In the morning, he brushed me off saying I was busy. I kept pressing on him, "But I'm going to be late for work," and rushed out. I called my friend and asked her for advice. That's definitely cheating. It's unforgivable hearing that. I started simmering with anger. I was mad at not only Divine, but went out every night and didn't even try to have a conversation with me, but also at myself, even thought our marriage had long cooled off. I pretended not to notice. I still don't have any solid proof that he's cheating on me. My friend referred me to a private investigator whom she used to build her case. I decided to do the same. The fee was quite expensive, but I considered it as a cost to move forward. I paid it out of my savings, and in no time I was presented with proof of the affair. The photos show Levi and a young woman walking arm-in-arm like lovers. They were shopping at a designer's brand boutique and dining at an obscure French restaurant. Then there were photos of them going into a hotel. The woman in the pictures was a college student called Naomi. She was 15 years younger than him. She worked as a bartender in the restaurant near Levi's office. He was regular there, and there was how they met. He supposedly felt in love with her at first sight. There were pictures of them drinking heavily at the bar. I knew he was cheating on me. He came home late, didn't eat at home, and smelled of alcohol and perfume. It all made sense. The more I looked at the evidence, the clearer it became that he was spending a lot of money to be with her. Where did all this money come from? I checked online banking in haste. He had taken money out of the retirement savings to finance his affair. There was hardly any money left in account. I fell to my knees. I can't believe I've been with such an idiot for 10 years. Fury came up from deep inside me. He chose his selfish desire over the future of our marriage. The moment I realized it, I decided to divorce him. I became clear-headed from that point on. I knew that even if I confronted him with the evidence, he would come up with excuses. He was the best to catch him in action. I remember that he mentioned an urgent business trip on Sunday. Old me would have said, "Have a safe trip, good luck," and send him off, but not anymore. My intuition was telling me that he was going to meet up with his lover. I picked up his tablet, took a breath, and typed in his birthday. He was so careless that he came home raking a perfume, and that his fear was proven in a matter of seconds. It was easy to guess the password. He was not only careless but moral. I unlocked it and looked for some information. There were no messaging apps, and I couldn't find any communication with this lover. I found confirmation of an Airbnb booking in his email. I immediately recognized a famous clamp inside and noted the cabin number he had reserved. The day of booking was the Sunday he was supposed to have a business trip. He'd better watch out. I was determined to confront him on that day. Sunday arrived. "I don't know what time. I'll be back tomorrow." "Okay, have a safe drive." I said, "See you later." In my mind, oblivious to what was stored in his immediate future. He left the house cheerfully. I made careful preparation and headed out to the place. The cabin looked bigger and more modern than it looked on the internet. He had never taken me to such a chic place. I felt even angrier. I went to Levi and now Miss Cabin and knocked on the door. "Yes." "Who is it?" "I am sorry to bother you, but I need to check your smoke detector." "May I come in?" If I'd opened the door without any suspicion. He was stunned when he saw me standing in front of him while he was trying to grab the situation. I forced myself into the back. I opened the thick curtain that divided a lounge area and bedroom and found Naomi sitting on the bed. She seemed to recognize who I was. "Why are you here?" She was in shock. "I know you guys were looking forward to a fun trip, but it's too bad." "How did you know where I was?" I explained the sequence of events. He came home late every night to smell of alcohol and perfume and the investigation. I told him that I checked his tablet and found out his business trip was a lie. "You've been suspicious. Of course, ever since my birthday you have cancelled our dinner. We are done." Well, we were arguing Naomi Street in laughter. I am amused. Mrs. Have you ever thought that maybe you are the reason he's not interested in you? No wonder he wants to cheat on you. Yeah, that's right. Naomi's much younger and much better than you. Who wants him close to 40? They turned defiant and began to mark me. I tried to hold back my hand from slapping him. Shall we get a divorce? Then I took out the fire of divorce papers my lawyer had drafted. He snatched it from my hand. Well, goodbye. I left the cabin. Once I was outside, I put my hand in my pocket. I stopped the recorder that had been recording our conversation. Mission accomplished. I removed my name from the joint Tennessee agreement and changed everything else to the vice name and then returned to my parents' house. I had asked my brother's friend who worked in the law firm to take care of my divorce. He was also my brother Aiden's lawyer. Aiden was running his own business when he graduated from university. He established a company under the guidance of our father. When I went to work for a major corporation, my father had a big influence on us as we were a family of owed money. Even so, we had never experienced a luxurious lifestyle. There was an inherent field in our grandfather's generation that threatened to destroy the whole family. After my father became the head, they began to live simpler and more solid lives. Aiden and I respected our father very much, so even after we became independent, we'd been following his teachings and living humbly. Spending money for one's person agreed was absolutely unthinkable. I informed Aiden about the divorce. A man who doesn't value his family is the worst. He was indignant. I explained the whole story and mentioned Naomi's name. I've heard that name before. Maybe he then quoted his HR Naomi miss her name was unusual, so they must have sounded familiar when he inquired. To our surprise, she had received a job offer from his company. She was apparently very enthusiastic during the interview, saying, "Your company is my first choice." I played in the audio I had recorded at cabin. "We don't want someone like her in our company. It's nothing related to family matters. She obviously lacks common sense as a member of society." He immediately called back HR and instructed them to receive the job offer. A few days later, I was still living with my parents while searching for a job. When I returned home from my interview, I saw the police car live in my house. I asked my parents what had happened and found out that Naomi showed up there. Offer from my dream job was taken away. She screamed and threw things in the house. She grabbed my mother and demanding to know where I was. So my father called 911 when she was contacted by Aiden's HR to cancel her job offer. She realized that Aiden and I were siblings. She became hysterical and storming into my parents' house claiming that it was my fault the police abused her and took her to the station. My parents told the police to just ski for a stern burning. When her parents went to pick her up, they told her that she was on her own they were apparently fed up with their daughter who caused problems on a regular basis. She lost a job that was lined up for her after graduation and was abandoned by her parents. She became homeless and had to drop off school. As for Levi, his biggest client was my father's company, which canceled all the contracts. When he found out about it, the plane drained from his face and he fainted. Rumors spread throughout his office and his colleagues began to look at him with disdain. He had lost his place in the company and resigned voluntarily. There was no way he could quit his job and maintain his existing lifestyle because of the element he owed me. He gave up his apartment and moved into a cheaper place. He then tried to rely on Naomi, who kept a bartending job. They got into a heated argument at restaurant and the police were called. Naomi wanted nothing to do with him. After that, he then began to ambush me around my house. It was my fault. Please come back. What are you talking about? Now. Stop showing up here. He demanded that we get back together and followed me around like a stalker. When I began to feel unsafe, the one who helped me was James. He was Aiden's pa and our childhood friend. He really put an effort to protect me by patrolling around my house and escorting me. One day I was working with James when Levi appeared again. Who the hell is this guy? None of your business. What does he have that I don't have? Come back to me when he grabbed my arm. James swiftly pulled his hand away, executing a brilliant maneuver that sent Levi tumbling to the ground. James was a highly skilled judo grandmaster who worked as a personal assistant and also served as a bodyguard at Aiden's company. Some girls from the neighborhood witnessed the scene and whispered among themselves. Who was that? Some creep, they remarked. Disgusted, they filmed the incident, finding it both amusing and worthy of going viral. As their laughter filled the air, James's face flushed as red as a traffic light, and he quickly made his escape. It was a well-deserved comeuppance, as the man who had preferred younger women over me was now being mocked by them. The irony of the situation was not lost on me. Gradually, my interest in James grew. Following that incident, I eventually found a new job and started dating him. Simultaneously, James confessed to me that he had harbored a crush on me since our younger days. Aiden, aware of James's feelings, eagerly offered his assistance in expediting my divorce proceedings. It didn't take long before James and I tied the knot. Aiden had always regarded James as a little brother, and when we announced our engagement, his excitement surpassed even that of my father's. He congratulated us wholeheartedly. I made a promise to myself to always cherish those who genuinely loved me.